Okay, sorry, let me just move this out of my way. There we go. Welcome, crafters. I'm so excited to be here. My name's Tiffany. I work at Craftsmith, and we are excited. We're going to make this adorable garland behind me, this floral garland. Emily made this setup behind me. It's so cute. It's summertime. I'm sure you guys are feeling it because I'm feeling it if you're in a heat wave. And what better way to cool down than to have a party by the pool? So I'm excited to show you what we're doing. We can switch over to our top down. There we go. So what I'm going to be working out of today is this Recollections paper pad. It's called Greenhouse. So whatever you have with you, whatever kind of paper, that's totally fine. But this is one that I'm using. It was designed here at Craftsmith, and I'm just going to kind of flip through so that you can see the beautiful paper that's on there. And I'm moving it so you can see all the foil embellishments that's on here, which, you know, out in the sun would be so pretty, right? So I'm going to flip through. Have some leaves, beautiful pinks. This looks like kind of like cobblestone. Doesn't that just scream summertime? So cute. There's like a million things that you can do with this paper pad. I love this. Look at that, all the gold embellishment on there. Here too. If you watched anything that I've done before, you know that I love all that like foil accents. So here we go. It's gorgeous. So this is what I'm going to be using. And like I said, you can use any paper that you have, but make sure that you have that handy if you're crafting along with me. Since we're getting started, I have my hot glue gun that's also plugged in, waiting for me. I don't want to wait for it, right? So that's plugged in. And I'm using this bottle of glue, and I actually laid it down on the side so that it's kind of starting to make its way down towards the tip so that I don't have to try to struggle to get it out later. So those are just a little bit of tips for you. Additionally, if you saw, we had a flower template for the class, and I think Emily put that link on our chat as well. So we're using this flower template. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out. I'm not using a machine, but if you wanted to use a machine instead, that is totally fine. It's going to probably save your hand some cramping, which I might have to go through, but that's okay. We also, on our website, craftsmithco.com, actually have some SVG files if you have a Cricut or something else that you wanted to cut these out with. I think I can show you that. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Share. Hopefully you can see my screen. So this is our website, craftsmithco.com, and we had just uploaded a whole bunch of SVG files. They're really inexpensive, affordable, and we have different collections that you can choose from. Like we have all these 4th of July things that are being spotlighted right now. But for this class, if you wanted to, let me try to move my screen around, sorry. There's different collections that you could choose from, like I said, but you could also search. So up here, if I put in a leaf and search that, you can see these different leaves that you can download and use your Cricut or whatever to cut out and save your hand some time. So that's our website. Let me stop sharing. I just wanted you to have access to something if you were interested in using a machine. Let's put this aside for right now. Other things that you're going to need for this project, some scissors. If you wanted to embellish your flowers, I have different glitters here. And then since this is a garland, I have our needle already connected to our twine. And you can use whatever you want. You can use ribbon, you can use twine, you can use thread, whatever. I pre-threaded it because I didn't want to have a difficult time doing that on camera. So I have that ready for me as well. So let's get started. I'm going to take our flower template, and like I said, I'm going to be cutting this out by hand. And since we have several flowers in our garland, I'm going to try to do this in a mass production type of way. So I'm just going to roughly, sorry if you can see what I'm doing. I'm not cutting it out exactly yet. I'm kind of just doing rough cuts around my template. So we have 6 of these, and half of them are leaves, half of them are flowers, and we're just going to rough cut around all of them. Nothing exact. You can just be really quick about it. A lot of times when we're crafting things of products that we think we want to do and we want to test them out first and see if that's something that we think would be a good product to put on shelves, we have to make mock-ups of it. And so you kind of have to learn how to do things quickly. So I guess I'm trying to show you some of these things that we do in the office. So if you don't have to be precise yet, then we just do it really quickly. We're going to take this away, move it over here. Okay, so we have our 6 templates. And then what I'm going to do is you get your paper. I'm going to use this paper pad, whatever you want. And I'm going to take a sheet. So this is a 12 by 12 paper pad. You might have to use multiple pages if you're using a smaller, like 6 by 6 or something else. But for my purposes, I just need to get 1 sheet. I'm going to use a different design per template. So I'm just going to take 1 sheet for each. So I'm going to use 6 sheets total. And you can use whatever you want. I'm tending to use more of like a green color for the leaves. And then or like a pink. So these will be for my leaves. I'll put them here. And a pink for the flowers. You can use whatever you want. So even though this design already has all these flowers on it, I'm going to cut out my flowers with it because I think that that gold accent, like I said, would look so pretty. So that's my second pink sheet. Let's see. I'll use this guy right here. And you can use anything you want. It can be textured. It could be foiled like mine. It could be just a solid, anything you want to do, because you can do anything to each of these flowers to make them how you want it to be, right? Because we're crafters. We can change it up. I'm just going to teach you my process, but you can change it however you want to for whatever you want to do. So let's just take one at a time. So I'm going to choose this bright green color, and these are my leaves, and these are my flowers. I'm going to take 1 set of leaves. Let's try this guy. So basically what I'm going to do now, since I said we're going to kind of mass produce this, our garland has roughly like 3 or 4 of each of these like flowers on them. So did I, wait, no, I have more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9. I can count. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our 12 by 12 piece of paper. We're going to use our template, and we're going to cut out 9 of these. So what I'm going to do is just roughly measure. So you can take a ruler, or you could just use your cutting board, whatever you want to do. This is roughly, if I give myself a little bit of room, about 3 inches by maybe 3.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper cutter, and we'll just cut. Oh, there's a lock on it. There we go. We're going to cut our paper to roughly the size of our flower. So it's a 12 by 12. So let's see. We'll start here at 9, then 6, then 3, I have these long strips, and that works for my flower. And then I said it's about 3.5 inches the other way, right? So I'm going to take this. Instead of doing math, I'm just going to go like this. We'll start here at 3.5. And I'll chop all of those together. So now I have this stack of 3 by 3.5 for this one leaf. Then I'll take it again. And I'll put it down again to 3.5. And then last one, we'll put it down to 3.5. So this class that we're doing, we're going to do a lot of this cutting. So like I said, if you have like a Cricut machine or something that you would rather use instead of cutting it, you can totally use that. I'm not going to tell anyone, you do you. But for those of you that don't have a machine like that, then we're just going to do it by hand. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a stack, size that I'm comfortable with cutting all at once. Maybe I'll try 3. And I'll put my template on it. And then I'm going to cut it out like this. So I'm not cutting one piece after another after another. I'm going to cut a stack at a time. That's going to save my hand a little bit. If you find that it's a little bit hard to cut through it, just take one out. But we're just gonna, and you don't have to be exact. I don't think anyone's gonna have a magnifying glass looking at your garland at the end of this, seeing any imperfections. So don't worry if it's not perfect. We're just going to do our best. And these designs are simple on purpose, because if you're cutting these by hand, you don't want something super intricate, right? But if you're using a machine, like I said, feel free to go as intricate as you want, because the machine's doing all the work for you, right? Okay, so let me get another stack because I just did that one. Put them all together. We'll put another one on top, and then we'll cut again. Okay. Okay, so I saw a comment that the file that you're printing is printing colored with blue lines on top. That's fine if that's the file that was sent. Just go with that blue line. When you're designing, you often have bleed, right? So that you, when you're cutting, if it's not perfect, then you won't have just like weird white spaces around. So that was designed on purpose, but maybe they sent you a different file than the one that I had printed. Okay, so almost there. I think this will be my last step for this one. All right. If you hear some noise in the background, I don't know if you could hear that just now. Our office building is going under some construction right now. Perfect day, right? Going under some construction right now. So if you hear some drilling or some people stomping up and down stairs, that is exactly where I'm located. So I apologize for any background noise. All right. So if you're watching me, you'll see that I didn't do the best job, right? It's not exactly how this was, a little bit messy, but that's okay. That is just fine. Okay, so now we have all of our leaves cut out. And if you notice on our template, there's also a blue line right here. So we want to cut that in here as well. So we're going to take our leaves in little stacks again, whatever you're comfortable with, maybe just one at a time, maybe a couple at a time. I did about 4 at a time. And we're just gonna snip along that blue line. Because our flowers on our garland are not just going to be flat. There's going to be a little bit of dimension to them. So I cut on that blue line. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of fold it. I'm trying to see the best way that you can see this. And we'll glue it like this. So do you see how it's no longer just a flat flower or leaf? There's some dimension to it, right? And that's what we're going to do with all of these, our flowers and our leaves. So you do want to cut that line on the bottom. Okay, so I did that stack. Let me do the next one. I'll try it out. If it's too many, I'll break it down. There we go. Okay, and then our last stack right here, we're just gonna. Okay, one done. 5 more to go. So we're going to put these aside. We're going to move on to our next one. Same process. I don't need these anymore. So maybe I'll start a pile down here.
Tiffany, someone asked.
Okay.
Tiffany.
Let's do this flower. So we're going to get one of our cute pieces of paper. Let's try this one over here. And then I'm going to roughly measure it. Let's see how big it is. Let's see, 4 by 3.5 again. Does that sound good? We could do 4 by 4, so we have a little bit extra room. So obviously, depending on the size of your flower, will depend on how many of these you can cut out. So 4 by 4, we're going to go for on this one, right? Because we do want a little bit of extra on the side. So that looks about right to me. 4 and then by 4. So let's do that. 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So we'll start here at 8. And then we'll go to 4. It helps me to do math out loud. That way I do a little bit less mistakes that way. So 4 by 4, again, we're going to go to 8 and 4. All right. So same thing. We're going to take our stack. We're going to take a few, put them together. I'm going to put this on. See how there's a little bit of room just in case my paper kind of shifts on me while I'm cutting. That's what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to take my scissors and let's start cutting. Like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. You can go as fast or as slow as you want to. I don't know if it's just me, but I find these kind of tasks soothing. Where I'm just sitting there and I'm just following a little template and I'm cutting away. I guess that means that I should be a crafter, but for my sister, no, not my sister, my cousin-in-law's bridal shower, we actually made like hundreds of flower garlands, not so intricate as these. They were smaller flowers and I was just cutting these out by hand like crazy. But I'm not bothered by that at all. If you are, like I said, you could use your machine or borrow a machine, or you could probably even buy some pre-cut ones online. But I don't have any problems with cutting these out myself. Anyone else like me? Because you don't really have to think about it, you know? You just sit there and cut them out, and in the end, you have something beautiful. Okay, so that was our first set. Put that down and grab another set. Okay. Let's do the next one. Well, I hope everyone's staying safe out there. It is definitely hot around the country. All my kids want to do is be in water. So I don't know how you guys are. My husband and I actually just came back from a trip to a tropical place, and we don't drink. So we were ordering a bunch of mocktails, and it's kind of hard to get out of that mind frame of having these really fancy drinks. So now our kids are into them too. So it's perfect to help you cool down during this heat wave. Sipping on some smoothies and some
Hey,
water.
Tiffany. Tiffany, can you hear me?
All right, so let's keep going.
Tiffany, I have a question.
Here. So this one, as you notice, the template is different, right? Because this is a flower, it's not a leaf. So you notice there's a little notch in our template. You see the little notch right here? So you want to make sure when you're cutting out that you keep this notch there, because it'll help you when we're folding the flowers to make them more 3D. So that's the one tip I should have said maybe earlier. You want to make sure you have that notch in there. It wasn't a mistake. And I'll show you after I cut out this last set for this flower, what we do with it, okay? And I see some of you in your cameras cutting along. Okay. And if cutting is hurting your hands and you need to take a break, totally do that. Normally the pair of scissors that I use have like this rubber grip around it, which makes it a lot more comfortable when you're doing a task like this where you have to cut a lot. And here in the office, depending on what you're doing, sometimes you're cutting a lot. Okay, almost there. Okay, our last little leg and our notch and go. Okay, I don't need this guy anymore. Put him away. Okay, so now we have these cute flowers. And like I said, they have a little notch, right? And that's going to help us fold it like our leaf and glue it to make it more 3D. So you see how it's 3D and it's not just a flat flower. It's 3D now, right? So that just gives you more dimension. And I think it just makes it a little bit more special. There's different things that you can do. Okay, so I'll show you how to glue all these together later. Let's do more cutting. Okay, so let's get our next flower. It said, did anyone hear how many flowers? So the garland that we showed online when you signed up for the class, I think there's about 6 flowers of each of the 3. So that's what we're trying to go for right now. It's about 6 of each of these. But depending on what you're doing with them, if you're not even making a garland, you can definitely do however many you need. But that's how much I'm going to aim for in this class. So this is about 3.5 by 3.5. So I don't make a mistake. I'm just going to go with 3.5. So 3.5. And 3.5. All right, there we go. Put these together and do the same thing. 3.5. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. let me know if you need anything set again or showed to you again. This is such a repetitive process though, that I think you guys will have no problem. Okay. Okay, next flower. We're going to put this guy here. And we're going to cut him out. And you can choose any flower you want. If you want to do more like a spring type of flower instead of tropical, you could do some like daisies. That would be super cute. And you could choose obviously the colors that would go with what you want. But I love paper flowers. I think maybe in a future class, we might do some wallflowers or something because that would be so fun. I did another project where we had about 100 wallflowers to cover above someone's fireplace. And that was beautiful. Took a lot of paper, but that was beautiful. Okay, we're almost done with this first one. All right, that's one. Move on to this one. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I'm doing, several of these at a time. If you want to go at a slower pace, totally fine. You could do one at a time, one flower at a time, just to learn the process. And then you could always go back and do more. Something else that's really cute with these paper, I don't have one here. I wish I should have brought one so I could show you. But if you have a straw and you make these paper flowers, you could like glue them around the straw, and that's so cute to put in your drink or toothpick. And just to decorate, one more thing to decorate, it'll coordinate with your table if you're doing this garland or if you're making a garland to hang. You can drape your garland on your table. Just run it through the middle. But there's so many things that you could do with these. The garland is just one thing that we decided to do. Okay. I'm going to take my next set. Okay. Well, I'm reading the comments. Did I count wrong? Let me count my garlands around again. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I lied. I'm sorry. There's 9. There's 9 flowers on the garland. Correction, 9 flowers. I apologize. But honestly, it doesn't matter. On the garland itself, you can separate them out, put more length in between with your twine or your ribbon, or you could make more flowers and you can just elongate it to whatever you need. So I apologize. The number is 9 that I did initially for the one that you saw in the picture. Sorry, guys. Okay. Okay, so now we have this one, and you see the metallic embellishment on that paper pad. Looks so cute. Okay, next, let's do a leaf. Let's use this guy. And we are going to look at This one is probably what, like a 4-inch, 1, 2, 3, 4-inch. And then we have to measure it this way. So about 3.5. So for this guy, we're going to go 4 inches because he's about 4 inches wide this way. And looking at it more as a square shape, we'd have to look at it this way, right? So it's 3.5. All right. So 4 inches would be 8. And then 4. And then I believe I said 3.5. So 3.5. Just double check, make sure it'll fit on there. Perfect. Three and a half. The papers are gorgeous, aren't they? Oh, I love it. I didn't design this, so I can say that. It's gorgeous. 3.5. It's so high class. So classy. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to take my leaf. This one's easier. It's just a few little bumps. 1, 2. 3. 4. And 5. There we go. Okay. So that's our first set. And we'll keep going. I don't know how many of you do outdoor entertaining, but you don't have to do this outdoor, especially when it's so hot. You can have an island theme party inside in your air conditioning. That'd be really nice too. All right. My neighbor just put up tea torches all over her backyard. It's so gorgeous. So maybe I'll give this to her after we're done, so she can hang it when you walk into her backyard. All right. And one more. Oh, who didn't put her cell phone on silent? Sorry. Now everyone knows my ringtone. Can you turn that off? Just on the side. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Okay. And last set. So in addition to it being, well, if you notice this one, it doesn't have like a little notch on it. And it doesn't have like that extra line to cut. How I was showing you, these are going to be 3D. So this one is actually, we're going to fold it a little bit. And I'll show you that. And that's how this one's going to be a little bit 3D. So I don't know if you noticed as you were cutting it or looking at it, it didn't have that extra notch. Okay. That was the last one. Okay, one more flower, one more leaf to go. Then I'll show you how to fold all of these to make them 3D. And then we'll keep going. So let's move this guy. And we'll do our leaf. So this little guy, so cute, tiny. And you, if you wanted to, you could cut several out for your flowers instead of just one like we were doing. That would be cute too. So you can do as many as you want with him. Let's cut him out. So he's about 2.5. If I trim him a little bit. Yeah, we'll just go 3. 3 by 2. So we don't have to cut this whole sheet because he's little. So we're going to go 3 by 2. So that's what, 9. That's probably enough, just one. And then two. So we'll go 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. Okay. I guess if I'm doing 9, I have to do one more, huh? Sorry. One more sheet. Okay, so that was 9. We'll go to 6, 3. Thank you. So, 1, and there we go. That's 2, 4, 6. Wait, 1. I can do math. It's summertime. I don't have to do math. 6. There we go. We're doing 9 flowers. I needed 9 pieces. There we go. Okay, let's get our leaves. So this little guy's the easiest. He's just one little leaf shape. And we're going to fold him too. And so the paper I'm using is not textured. It does have treatment on it, but this, could you imagine how cute it would be if you had like a textured paper pad that you were doing with this with? It'd be so fun. Okay. And then our last one. Okay. We are going to trim him. All right. So this little leaf is done. This is like the cutting Olympics. We're almost there. You're doing good. If you need to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your fingers. We have one more flower to get through, and then we can move on to the extra fun part. I think this is fun, so I'm not going to say this isn't a fun part, but an extra fun part where we get to make them 3D. Okay, so last flower. Trim her down a little bit. Okay, so about 4 inches by like 3.5. We could say 4 by 4 just to make it easy on us. Okay, 12 minus 4. We're gonna go to 8. 8 minus 4. Go to 4. Back them all together. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go to 8. We're gonna go to 4. All right. And now I am officially done cutting with this paper cutter, so we can move him out of the way. Put the lock on there. I don't want him to come apart and get anyone hurt. We'll just move him to the side. Okay. Safety first. All right, let's get our last template. We're in the home stretch, everyone, or wherever you are. Take your time. This one's a little complicated. It has a little bit of an edging on the leaves. So let's get started. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to judge you. And if anyone's using a Cricut, let me know if you're done already, because I want to compete someday. Me versus the Cricut. See who can do this faster. Okay, going around. And again, since this is the flower, it has that little notch on one of the sides. Just want to make sure that you cut that so that it's still defined. But if you don't, it's fine. You can still just glue it together. But it's just a little help when we glue these together to keep it together. And so we're going to get to our hot glue soon. So if you are using hot glue, you do want to have that plugged in, waiting for you. You could use tape. You could use, tacky glue or Elmer's glue, whatever you want, any kind of glue, totally fine. I'm using hot glue. Just get that a little bit faster to dry. Bond a little bit tighter, thicker. Okay. This is my second stack of 3. All right. Okay. And you didn't have to do it in the same order I'm doing it. So maybe you're on a different flower. But I just love these simple shapes. There was one time when we were doing these decorative boxes and we had all these decorations, paper decoration cutouts that you could put on the boxes to make it look like something. And we had to cut out this butterfly, and each butterfly had all these strips down inside and holes everywhere. And we did it, but that was hard. That was hard. At least these shapes are simple. So it is a lot of cutting, but at least it's a simple shape, right? Could have been definitely harder. All right, our last stack. Okay. And don't grade me. If you're looking closely at my flower cutouts, they're not perfect. And they don't have to be. I love going to a party and seeing something just homemade that the host or hostess did, whether it's a banner or just little tabletop decorations, just little things I think people appreciate, right? Which is why I love crafting so much. It's because it's just one way to show people that they care, or that you care about them, that this matters to you, they matter to you, and you spent the time to do something because you thought they'd like it. So, even if you're buying a bunch of store made things, always having something that's homemade, I think means a lot too. Okay, so that was my last one. I have a lot of paper dust, so I'm going to sweep this up a little bit to have a clean workspace. Okay, and I'll put that in my pile. All right, so hopefully you guys are coming along. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to take all of our flowers and we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, this. Oops. I had these two go together, and I had these two go together, and these go together. Okay, so now we are going to make them 3D. Let's start with this guy. Okay, so there's a few different things you can do. and you know, you're the crafter, this is your project, you can decide what you want to do. Ultimately, these two things are going to be glued together. So that notch that I was showing you earlier, how do I move my hand? There we go. We kind of just overlap a little section and we're going to hot glue it together right there. And that's going to make this leaf become a 3D leaf instead of just a 2D leaf. You see that? So it's super simple. Doesn't take a lot of effort to make a big impact, right? If you wanted to with your leaves, you could also maybe like take your fingers and curl it. I'm going like this and just bending a little bit outward. So that just adds a little bit more dimension to it. You see how now it comes out a little bit. So it's up to you how you want to do it. That's what I'm going to do for these leaves. So I'll take them, then I'll just run my fingers kind of around the end just to give it that little pop, just a little bit. You see that? Sorry, I don't know how to move my hands. There we go. So I'm going to do that. You just take a couple, take the ends, and you just fold them back. And then I'll do the last set. You just fold them back. You could use a tool, you could use a pen or a pencil. I think your fingers are just fine as well. And then what I'm going to do is that hot glue gun's been getting ready for me. So you just separate the two ends like this. You pick one to go over the other one. And then we're going to place a little bit of glue and glue them together like this. Be careful if you're using a hot glue gun. I'm sure we all have hot glue burns from different projects we've been doing. Just put the smallest little dot is enough. Overlap. You can blow on it if you don't want to burn yourself. Pinch it. And there, you have a 3D leaf. Pretty cool, huh? I have a bad habit of playing with hot glue, so I'm just gonna peel that off. Okay, we're gonna keep going. We have a lot of these to do. Okay, so I already bent the edge. I'm gonna put just a little dab of glue and fold and pinch. Just hold it for just a few seconds, depending on how hot your hot glue gun gets. You might have to hold it a little bit longer. We have some pretty industrial hot glue guns here. This one's not that bad. This is, I have to say, a fun workplace sometimes with the things that we get to play with. I love using different tools. Hot glue guns. Like, who gets excited about hot glue guns, right? They're fun. They're different. They have different kinds. All right. I have a niece who, her mom just recently bought her a hot glue gun and she just makes a whole bunch of things out of it. It's kind of like a 3D printer for her. All right, so pinch that. And if your glue is super hot and you notice that they start to come apart, just re-glue it. Not complicated at all. All right. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, my freshman year in college, I lived far away from where I went to school. And so I was at school and my roommate and I were like, lived in this little dorm and we didn't think we had enough space for like a Christmas tree. And she and I were both kind of crafty people. So we took a wire hanger and we twisted it to make like these little tabletop size Christmas trees. We had it, I don't know how we had a green wire hanger, but we had a green wire hanger. We just twisted it up to make a spiral, to make a little tabletop tree. And then what we did to make it, because we were living in a place where it snowed, so to make it look more festive, we got our hot glue guns out and we just hot glued all over that thing. And that was our little tree for our dorm, our little dorm room. It was perfect. We got little fuzzy balls and we just like put them around. But that's what I love about crafting, you know, and I'm excited that you're all here because there's just unlimited things you can do. It's just so fun all the time. Okay, I think I have more than I need. So 3, 6, 7, 8, one more. Last, please. And all right, here we go. All right, so those are our leaves. Wow, I'm having a hard time counting today. I did 10. That's okay. There we go. Okay, next one. Let's do the little flower. So same thing. What I wanted to do with this one was the similar. I just wanted to take the ends. And if you don't do it in the beginning, that's fine. You could glue it first and do it after, whatever your preference. I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to bend the ends like I did with the leaf. So if you see maybe sideways, what I'm doing is I'm taking the little end and I'm just bending the ends so that they curve inward a little bit. You see that? And whatever you think is best, you can try it out. And so like I said, there's that little notch right here. So that's going to go on the underside of our flower. So we're going to put the other side and fold it up over it. We're going to put our hot glue on this notch right here. And then we'll fold our paper and put it on top. You see how that's a 3D flower now? So cute, right? Okay, let's get started. I'm going to take my stack. I'm going to take maybe 2 at a time. I'm going to bend our leaves to give it more dimension, more interest. Okay. Do the same for all of these as well. Just fold them back. All right, and the last stack. Fold. Couple more. And that gold, I love it. Every time I look at this, I love that gold. Okay.
Tiffany?
Okay, now we're going to get our hot glue. Maybe I should count these out.
Tiffany, can you hear
Good
me?
idea. 1, 2. Oh, perfect. Okay. So we're going to take one. Like I said, on the little notch, we're going to put just a dab of glue. And then we're going to take our paper and we're going to, whoops, glue it together. See that? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pinch it. Good. All right, next one. Dab of glue. A little spider web.
There's like 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh, there's only 10 minutes
You want to
left.
speed up the process?
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Emily told me there's 10 minutes left. So we're going to go a little bit faster. Okay, maybe we won't do all of them. We'll just do a couple. Okay, so I'll just do a couple since we don't have that much time. But since everything's already cut out, you can get to make them after our class is over. How about that? Well, let's just get through this process. So if you want to, you can also glue your flower and your leaf together. Or if you wanted to keep them separate on your garland, that's fine too. So I'm going to glue them together. I'm going to put a little bit on the bottom and glue it to the leaf so they won't come apart. Okay. And boop. All right, put them together. Okay, so that's one flower, and we'll keep these to the side. Now our next flower, we're going to do the same thing. I'm only going to do a couple of them to show you. We're going to bend it. And mainly I'm bending it this way because my paper pad is one-sided, right? My design is only on one side, it's not on the other. If it was double-sided, then you could concave it the other way. You could twist it the other way to give it different dimension. But if I did that, the other side would be white. And I don't want that. So I'm going to bend it this way. Okay, so here we go. Stick together. There we go. All right, here's our little notch. We're going to place a dab of glue and put it together. Okay, try not to burn your fingers. If you have tape instead, then you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So this guy, I'm going to match with this leaf. And like I said, we're going to fold him a little bit to give him a little bit more dimension. So we just folded him a little bit. And then you can glue him on. Cute, huh? Super cute. All right. I love when this part happens because you start seeing all of your hard efforts take shape. It wasn't for nothing. All that cutting was for this beautiful flower. Okay. And then last, this guy, I'm not even going to bend, but you totally can. Just going to glue them together. Maybe because of time, we'll just do these two. Okay. Oops. Get back over there, you. There you go. How cute would this be? Toothpicks put in your ears? How cute. Okay. And then these leaves, we're going to bend each section. There's 3 sections. We're going to bend each one down the middle to give him a little dimension. See? Here's the underside. You can see it a little better, the fold. So again, each leaf, we're going to fold in half, just a little bit. And then him too, we'll glue our flower onto it. Okay, so that's super cute. Okay, I already have my twine and my needle. And you can make this as long as you want, depending on how many flowers you made and how spaced apart you want it. But basically, we're just going to take one of our flowers and poke it down the middle and run it through. This is the garland part, right? Because really you could scatter these flowers around, but since we're making a garland, we have our twine and our needle. And then on the sample one, I just alternated flowers, and you can do that too. Or you could make extra leaves and put more leaves in there. But see how cute this garland is? So cute. All right, just do a few more. And if this was too fast, You can always watch the video again. And you can play it at whatever speed and whatever part of this that you might need to watch again. All right, last two. 1 and 2. Okay. So how cute is that? So cute to just put in their table in the middle or something, or to have it hanging. So, so cute. If you wanted to put embellishments in the middle of your flower, you can put a little bit of blue and sprinkle a little bit in the middle just for some added interest. Okay, so let's switch back to our front view camera, if that's okay. Thank you so much. All right, so remember, if you make this product and you don't mind tagging us on social media, you can tag Make It With Michaels or hashtag Michaels Classes. And don't forget us, hashtag Craftsmith Co. And if you wanted to look at those SVG files, you can go to craftsmithco.com where you can find them there. If you wanted to sign up for more classes, you could go to michaels.com/classes for more free classes. I'm so glad that you guys were here. And again, if you needed to watch it again, they're going to have it on, I think, YouTube and on michaels.com/classes for you to see. So don't forget to tag us. Thanks again for watching and to craft with me. We'll see you later. Thanks so much.